Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Stipe Miocic, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
Hello and welcome back to MMA Latest News. My name is James Sweetnam and these are my MMA memories. My first memory of MMA, I remember back in the day when Anderson Silva used to fight, his highlights were all over Facebook. He was creating these stunning knockouts, you know, he was showboating his hands behind his back, and I think they're the first videos I ever saw of MMA. My favourite fighter of all time is the one, the only, Michael the Count Bisping. Not only is he a Lancashire lad, he's born 15 minutes up the road from where I'm from, but he's just probably the hardest person you'll ever meet. The man had one eye. He did 11 fights, unable to see in one of his eyes. Absolutely incredible. He had so much heart, so much determination. He was a lad who had very little in his 20s. He did a prison sentence. He was constantly getting himself into trouble with the law, but he managed to turn that all around. And when absolutely everybody said he had no chance of becoming a UFC champion, he proved them all wrong. He had so many losses, so much adversity, from the eye injury to the knee injury to losing to people who were on steroids. And then on 2 weeks' notice, he stepped up and beat Luke Rockhold in a fight where he was 10-1. Nobody gave him a chance, and I think that's why Michael Bisping is my favourite fighter, in addition to the fact that he's probably the best talker in UFC history, or at least up there. The best fight I have ever seen, that's a very difficult one. Obviously, you know, Bisping had those wars with, you know, the likes of Dan Henderson, Anderson Silva. Mark Hunt had that fantastic fight with Bigfoot Silva. But I'm going to go with one of my favourite fighters, Mr. Robert Whittaker. His second fight with Romero was absolutely incredible. The first fight was a war. Robert Whittaker got through it with an injured leg. The second fight, he only had one hand. He was basically knocked out in the third and fifth rounds and scraped through it by the skin of his teeth. Rob Whittaker showing so much heart against Romero, who was an absolute Cuban monster, built like 10 bodybuilders, all put into one. And I think that was probably my favourite fight. Worst fight I have ever seen in the octagon, it has to be Kimbo Slice versus Dada 5000. I think this was actually in Bellator, so we're going to go away from the UFC, but it was absolutely horrific. It was like two tired granddads falling on top of each other. Kimbo's a legend of the game, but that fight was absolutely horrific. One thing that I would change about the sport, I think we need more weight classes. I mean, if you look at, say, the middleweight division and then the welterweight division, there's 15 pounds difference there. It's simply too big a cut for some people. So many athletes are either too big or too small. Let's stick somewhere in the middle. Like, for example, in between 155 and 170, let's stick in a 165 and then move 170 up to 175. My dream fight, I think a lot of people, you know, would opt for like an Anderson versus GSP when they were both in the primes, but I'm going to go with two of the best heavyweights of all time. We have this argument constantly, who is the greatest heavyweight of all time? You can chuck Stipe Miocic, you know, Cain Velasquez, Fedor Emelianenko. So let's have a round robin between those three. Any of those two, any of those lads against each other, I think would be absolutely fantastic. So they were my MMA memories. Tune in next time. We're going to be having the likes of Brendan Luffman, Stephen Elson and Mitch Ivey all giving theirs. See you next time.